Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another part 2 Let's Play Dark Souls 2. Okay guys, so I had a bit of a problem in between the last recording and this recording. My post-recorded files I was going to do today appeared to have been corrupted, so because of that I had to delete them, and I didn't want to skip like an hour's worth of footage because I had an hour's worth of pre-recorded footage for the next 2 parts or so, and because Dark Souls 2 doesn't have like a previous save system, it'll just auto-save and then you have to keep playing forward, so having recording problems makes for huge amounts of issues. So since I didn't want to skip all those things, I decided just to play through the game again really quickly with the character the same name and do all the exact same things that I did up until this point. So I've defeated the Pursuer boss. I've actually died twice, which I think is one more time than I died before, because I fell again. Jumping is just not my forte, at the same spot that I did in like the third part, and then I also managed to accidentally roll off of a cliff face at one point. So I've actually wasted 2 humanities. So I'm exactly the same way. I'm level 33 with the exact same stats, if you guys look here. So I'm just letting you guys know, I did a quick speed run back up to this point. It only took me about 2 hours, and my character is built the exact same way that he was before. So nothing to worry about. You guys probably wouldn't even notice the difference if I hadn't said anything. Anyway. So today we're going to be fighting the next Dark Souls 2 boss, which is going to be the the last giant. And to help me out here, I'm actually going to summon the AI-controlled mild-mannered Pate, which is the guy you guys saw earlier, who gave me the white soapstone sign that was right by the gate that closed down on me in an earlier section. Hello, Pate. How you doing? Even though he's an AI and he probably won't respond to me, let's bow to him. You know, why not? Wow, how fucking rude. Won't even Oh, he did bow to me. Wait, did he bow to me? Huh, he has manners. Interesting. Okay. Alright, well, let's go take Peyton here and go fight this boss. Now, this boss is actually really supposed to be the one you're kind of supposed to fight first, I think. He is really easy, so I probably won't have any difficulties with this guy unless I am really off my game today. But we'll see. His face, as I believe the YouTuber I watch a lot, Robaz, he stated that his face looked like a gigantic asshole, and I kind of agree with him. His face basically is a gigantic bunghole. So, yeah. Rip yourself off of there, buddy, so I can fight you. Come on, get up. Get the fuck up. Alright, so this guy's really easy. He has a lot of wide, sweeping kind of swings. He also manages to pretty much only focus Pate in the beginning, which is kind of funny. Now, you can fight this guy without Pate, but if you fight him with Pate and Pate survives, you'll actually get some rewards from Pate later. So I usually just like to pull Pate in just for the sake of doing so. So, in the beginning, the only really big attack patterns the giant has is that he'll have a downswing like that, where he'll just punch the ground. He'll also jump, and he'll do an arcing swing like that, or he'll try to step on you. Those are pretty much the only attacks he has in the beginning. And then once he gets to half health, he'll actually rip his fucking arm off like that. And then you have to take him down. Oh, shit! I got hit. Come on, get up, get up. He's kind of in a corner, so it's a little difficult for me to get around him. The easiest way to defeat him is actually to stay as close as possible, which, hilariously enough, is actually the main way you defeat most bosses in Dark Souls 2. But yeah, just basically stay under his legs, watch for which feet are going to stamp down, and then roll out of the way once he stamps down, and you'll kill him that quickly. Whoop. You sneaky devil. There you go. It's a very, you know, it's kind of a cool boss fight the first couple, like maybe the first time, but if you've played Dark Souls at least once or twice, like, you know, the first game or this game, the last giant is pretty easy. It's not really much to worry about. Alright, so now that I've defeated him, I do have his soul now, and I also have a key which I can use to unlock that area that I needed to go to get the cool Drangleic set armor. So I'm going to go back to the bonfire where I was at and rest. Now, typically I would be lazy and I'd use a homeward bone to get back to the bonfire, but because I started this video when I was already coming down this lift, I'm going to go up to the top really quick and show you how I got here, just to make sure, for those of you guys who might play this in the future, just to make sure you guys know where to find the last giant. And if you're new to the game, this guy is definitely the first boss you should go for, and not the Pursuer. But yeah, so you come back over here, where I was during the last part. Open this door up, and then you guys can notice there's the ladder that leads up to the bonfire that I was at earlier by the creepy old woman with the gigantic freaking bag on her back. And then you come down here, you just go take this lift by stepping on the pressure plate, and you'll be there in a minute. So it's not that hard. Alright, but let's go up here, and we're going to go and rest. Now, I am not going to save the Soul of the Last Giant. So what is... Oh, it's Ring of Blades. Okay. I'm not going to save the Soul of the Last Giant soul because I don't really want what it gives me. You can use this to get a gigantic club, if I remember correctly, but I don't really need a club. So I'm just going to spend it, which is going to give me an extra 6,000 souls. Okay. Alright, and now that we've done that, I've already talked to this woman and exhausted her discussion chain, but after you kill the last giant, which is technically the last giant and the pursuer are the only bosses in the Forest of Fallen Giants area. Once you defeat those two people, Melentia, once you exhaust her conversation chain, will actually pick up her stuff and move back to Majula, which is kind of cool. I think she gives you a discount. Not 100% sure, but I think she does. Now, the question is, do I want anything from her? I'm planning on using some spells later, but I don't think I'm going to use a soul arrow or healing. I'm not going to be a paladin this playthrough. I'm probably going to be a like a magic knight user, so I'm going to be using some sorcery stuff, but I don't have the required intelligence stat to use soul arrows, so I'm probably not going to use those. Bright bugs are not that good. I don't really need human effigies right now. Okay. I'll just use the souls to level up. That's fine. Did I throw a human effigies fire in here? No. Okay, never mind. Alright, well, we're going to go back into Majula, and I'm going to level up. And then after that, we're going to be going into actually my favorite area. And now the reason it's my favorite area is not because of the mobs that you have to fight, but it's because of the boss. The boss is pretty easy. It's kind of easy. And the next area we're going to be going to, which is the Cardinal Tower area. Or, I'm sorry, not the Cardinal Tower, the Hyde's Tower of Flame area. But there's one boss in there who's really awesome, and I love fighting him. So I hope we can get to that, and either in this part or the next. Okay. Thank you for your depressing speech, Emerald Herald. Okay, so on level 33, we have a decent amount of souls to spend. Now, let's think about this. So, I'm going to be getting the Drangleic set. Oh, you know what? I never got the Drangleic set. Let's do that first. I always forget how heavy the Drangleic set is. So let's go back to the Forest of Fallen Giants for a minute and go to the Cardinal Tower. And I'll go get the Drangleic set from the area, where is it? From the area where the Pursuer boss is technically supposed to be. And then once I get it, I'll level up my Vitality if I need to. Okay, so to get to the Drangleic set, this is how you got to get to it. So you just got to roll down here. I'm just going to pass those guys. They may end up following me down, but it's not really that big of a concern of mine. And then I'm going to aggro this Turtle Knight over here. I'm just going to kind of keep him right here. Probably swing once or twice. Aha, you missed. You suck. Oh, did you die? Sorry. Alright. And now that I have the key that I got from killing the last giant, I can use the soldier's key to open this place up. And then what you gotta do is you gotta go up here, get rid of this guy. There's another dude with the halberd up here who's gonna drop down. Just get rid of him. Pretty easy. And then I'm going to head straight up these little bitty stairs and go up here. Here we go. So this is the area you would have fought the Pursuer guys if you just completely skipped the area where I fought him, or if you tried to fight him in the area where I did and then you lost. Now this area, it's not that bad to fight in. I've seen, plenty of people fight this guy here. My first playthrough in Dark Souls 2, I fought the Pursuer here. It wasn't that big of a deal. The reason I don't like this area too much is because it's kind of small. If you fight the Pursuer here, this area will be blocked off, and then once you enter this area, the back area will be blocked off. So all you have is this very narrow kind of corridor area. And look at that texture flickering. Ugh, that bothers me so much. Anyway, you'll fight him here, and you can use Ballista here to actually kill him, which is kind of cool. The Ballista will do a bunch of damage to him, but, at the same time, I prefer having just more space in general. So I just like fighting him in the other area where I fought him in the previous part. Anyway, now there are two things that you want to pick up here. If you go up here, there's a dead body, and you can actually pick up a soul of a Nameless soldier and some life gems, which is always good. And then there actually are two more things here that are kind of interesting. Now, one of them I'm not going to use, which I actually typically would, because I feel that I'm good enough at the game to where I can skip through some things and then come back to them later. But I'll just show you what it is. So if you go up here, you'll notice there's a bird's nest here. And what can happen is that if you get on here and you hit X to examine, or A in this case, a gigantic bird will come down. He'll freaking snatch you up, and he'll drop you off in an area that's you're not supposed to reach until much later into the game. He'll drop you off into the Lost Bastille. Now, don't do this unless you feel confident enough that you can beat the mobs in the Lost Bastille, because it's supposed to be an area that you're not supposed to get to until like 3 areas after that. Like, it's like the 5th area in the game you're supposed to get to. Don't go there if you're new to the game. Or if you just want to go there and pick up like 1 or 2 items, which there are 1 or 2 items that are kind of worth getting there, but it's really kind of up to your discretion. I'll leave it up to your choice, but I'm not going to go there just because my main reason for coming here was just to get the Drangleic set. Alright, so to get the Drangleic set, you're going to hop down here. It's not too scary. Hop down here. There's an undead body, or there's a dead body here. And there you go, Drangleic sword, shield, and mail, gauntlets, and leggings, okay? And let's roll down here, and this is where I will equip my new Drangleic set. Now, the Drangleic sword is kind of cool. It is a great sword, if I remember correctly. Yes. So because of that, I actually cannot wield it. The Drangleic sword requires 20 dexterity and also 25 strength. Now, it does have a dexterity scaling, which is kind of cool and kind of unique for great swords, actually. Most of the time, great swords are strength scaling, from what I remember. But what this means is that this weapon will gain a lot more damage the more strength I give it. The more dexterity I have, which is kind of cool. But I'm not going to be using it. It does definitely do a lot of damage, and it's sometimes going to be worth upgrading. But I typically will grab a claymore later and just use that. So we're going to stick with the Hyde Knight Sword. It's also really heavy. If you guys notice, it's because it's a great sword, it's going to actually increase my weight and my encumberment by like 12%. It's not really worth it. While if you just get the Hyde Knight Sword, it increases it by 5%. So don't bother. Now let's actually equip the Drangleic set. So if you guys look, the Drangleic set gives you a lot better stats. I mean, look at all those stat increasements. You get a huge buff to your physical armor protection. I mean, all of the physical armor protection. It's a little weak on the blunt side, but that kind of makes sense because it's metal armor, so it would make sense that like a bashing weapon like a mace or something like that would do a lot of damage. But it still increases your stats by quite a lot. Now, luckily, it looks like, yep, fantastic. So it looks like we actually had enough vitality to make it so I don't have to upgrade my vitality anymore, right? At least right now, because I can use this armor while keeping my encumbrance below 70, and that's what you want, like I said in the previous parts. And that's, you know, this armor set looks pretty cool, I think. It's definitely, the cape is kind of ragged, but just overall, I like the look of it. Now, unfortunately, I don't think there's actually a helmet that goes along with it, so for right now, I'm just going to stick with using this kind of like conquistador type helmet, but hopefully we'll get something new later. But this, once you get this armor set, you pretty much can just breeze through this, the whole Forest of Fallen Giants. Like, it's really not worth staying in anymore. You'll probably, once you get the Drangleic set, you'll pretty much be bored of this area. Now, I am actually going to equip a shield here, and this actually may take me over 70%. Yeah, it will. Okay, so I'm actually going to have to upgrade my vitality a little bit more so I can hold on to the Drangleic shield, because the Drangleic shield is actually one of the first shields that you can get in the game that has 100% physical resistance. This means that if you block an attack with the Drangleic shield and it doesn't have any elemental damage on it, like lightning, fire, etc., you actually will block the full damage amount as long as you have stamina. It'll end up just, instead of taking HP damage, you'll take stamina damage instead, which is fine. So I typically, once I get the Drangleic shield, like to hold on to it. Now, I won't use it all the time, but I typically will keep it on my back, so if I end up fighting guys who do a lot of physical damage, I can just use it to block the damage, and I'll be okay. So, alright, but now that we have gotten my Drangleic set, let's talk to the Emerald Herald and level up. So we're going to increase my vitality to the point where I can get my equipment load up. Now I think if we raise it to... I'm going to do it in kind of like I was going to say I was just going to do it in margins, but let's try like 18 vitality and see if that's enough. That's actually going to cost me a lot of souls. Now luckily the game obviously scales the higher level you are, so things do get more difficult later based on your level, but also things will give you more souls, so you won't really find yourself kind of like having to farm for souls in Dark Souls 2 to level your character up, because as you progress through the game, the enemies you fight will give you more souls. It's not that big a deal. Okay, 69.1 vitality, or I mean equipment loads, that's good. That means that I have just enough vitality to stay under 70%, which means I won't do the fatty roll. Awesome. And that means I can use the rest of my souls to upgrade other stuff. So let's see. So right now, my strength and dexterity are pretty good. I could upgrade them some more and increase my damage, which wouldn't be that bad. Or I could upgrade my endurance, which would give me a bit more potential for rolling and things like that, which isn't that bad at all. I'm going to upgrade my endurance to 8, which is going to give me roughly 4 more extra stamina, a little bit more physical defense, and a little bit more poise, which means I'll be less susceptible to being knocked off balance by attacks. But I'm not going to spend any more souls like that, because I'm going to need some souls to actually buy a weapon for myself for the next area. So before you go into the Hyde's Tower of Flame, the first thing you definitely want to buy is a mace, and you can get it from this guy over here. From Leningrass.
And you are? A man ought to labor with his feet planted firmly in the earth, not, your equipment.
So, Leningrass he's a blacksmith. He can repair your weapons and armor if you break them, which only happens if you don't rest at the bonfire before a weapon and armor set breaks and loses all of its durability. He can also reinforce your weapons and armor and make them better and make them do more damage and stuff like that. Or he does have a set of items that you can buy. And what I want is I actually want his mace. And the reason for this is that the mace is going to give me a lot of blunt damage, which in strike damage is what the actual damage type is called. I always forget that. It's going to give you a lot of strike damage, which is going to be very effective against the enemies in the Hyde's Tower of the Flame, which are these gigantic stone knights. So before you go in there, I would definitely suggest buying some kind of blunt weapon, so you can do... Holy shit, look at that guy's sword. I'm cursing a lot in this video, I apologize. Dude, that was awesome though. I want that guy's sword. God. I can't wait to get an uber great sword. Uber great swords are so fun to use. Yeah, I know, you look really good, dude. Oh man, I need 60 souls if I want to level up again. Oh wait, no, but I do have the soul to Nameless Soldier, so I can use that to level up. There we go. Okay. So let's increase my endurance a little bit more. I think I'm going to get it to about maybe 10. And then after that, I'll probably shift over to Vigor a bit to increase my HP. And then we'll go back to Strength and Dexterity for a little bit. I'm not really going to invest points in Adaptability, which increases your guys' base resistances. I don't really find it's worth it, and I think you can spend your souls in a lot better stats. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead into the next area. So to get to the Hyde's Tower of Flame, you're going to head on over here, past all these huts. You know, there's the cat and all those different people. And then you're going to go down here into this dark, dank tunnel and go on over here. But yeah, Hyde's Tower of Flame, just because of the boss, there are actually 2 boss fights there, but just because of one of the boss fights in Hyde's Tower of Flame, it's probably one of my favorite areas. In Dark Souls 2, like, I find that it has some pretty cool boss battle music, and music, for those of you guys who don't know, is like my favorite part in a lot of games. Like, if a game has really great atmosphere and music, especially in role-playing games, because that's my favorite genre of games, then the game has already scored a lot of bonus points with me, and it's already pretty high on my list. Now, of course, it has to have good mechanics, you know, decent story, unless it's one of those types of games like Dark Souls where the story is not really part of the entire game, unless you need to like hunt for it or something like that. But if it has really good atmospheres and music like Dark Souls does, I really like the game already. So, and the second boss fight in Hyde Flame has some pretty awesome music, and I really like the boss fight and the whole setting of it. So I'm pretty excited to get there. And that was also one of the main reasons I didn't want to skip over these next few the next 2 parts that got deleted, is because I really wanted to show you guys that fight in person, because I really like that fight. So this is the Hyde Tower of Flame. So up there, where that gigantic cathedral is, with the huge drawn-up drawbridge, is actually where one of the bosses is, and then the other one is right over there in that gigantic tower, which is actually the Hyde's Tower. So we're going to end this part today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this part to Let's Play Dark Souls 2, and next time join me for my endeavors in the Hyde's Tower of Flame. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all again next time.